everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. Yeah, I was gonna say eventually. Holy shit. I know it's early, a lot of times like later on the weekend, but. Many of you are gonna wonder, like, fuck is this guy? And again, my name is Jared Malott, and you can find me on Blue Sky. I'm probably not a very entertaining follow, so I don't constantly post on social media all day long. Hope you're all having a fantastic weekend and happy Easter. First things first, I think it kind of goes without saying. Uh, Good on you if you went out and protested yesterday. I went to our protests here in Indianapolis a couple times. Was asked to leave my phone in the car and park and walk. So if I sound a little gruff, this is what happens when you stand out in the rain for probably less than a half hour total, if I'm being really honest about it. I parked pretty close to where the protest is, and just like outside long enough to cross an intersection, and then I'm basically there. I have a video from yesterday that I didn't post yet. I made it and then didn't post it immediately, and I don't know if you've if you ever talked to anybody that makes stuff. You generally don't let stuff marinate, right? It's not gonna get better uh, the longer you wait to get it posted, right? It's like having a painting in your head and not actually getting it on paper, right? You just have this, you're just walking around holding on to this idea, right? And I wanted to talk about, without talking about what sorts of conversations I'm having with my friends. I went and saw a bunch of them yesterday. One of the things that we're not talking about is we're not talking about the families of these men that we know that are being illegally kidnapped and trafficked to El Salvador. Let's just start saying what it really is. Instead of calling it deportation, you're giving it legitimacy, and also kind of misunderstanding that deportation is a legal process by which you remove someone who's here illegally. And I just want to point out that Barack Obama deported like 3 million people and nobody said a fucking word. Did you see the difference? And what we're not talking about is like when they round up people, what happens to their kids? What if they're a single dad? What about their wife? What about the women that are around? Are they not getting a little wild when, for the record, people that are often plain clothes I'm just saying what the truth is. Like, people are literally being like abducted off the street, ejected from the country. But what we found out, like sort of the best part about all of it, is we've actually found out the airline that's contracting these flights. I think it's a Avilo. Isn't that the name of the airlines? Let me see what this place is called. Avilo Airlines to charter DHS flights. So hey, if you wondered who not to support, okay, here's probably a publicly traded company that needs to be um, divested from. Okay, adult problems require adult solutions. Okay, AVELO, Avelo Airlines. Okay, is the airline that's supporting these deportation flights. Okay, AVELO. Yep. Okay. Again, very early. I want to say, hey, good on you. If you went and protest yesterday, great, great fucking job. Okay. I will always be pointing you toward R50501 if you're interested in getting involved. Also, consider Protest Finder USA. I would definitely consider the protests that they organize are legitimate, and having attended the last several, they've all grown in size, albeit yesterday here in Indy. I'm sure everywhere else it was massive, but here in Indy, we had 80-mile-an-hour tornadic winds the morning of that protest. I was shocked at all the things that were set up. All the, I would just call them huts, just to give them a fucking name. There's a bunch of huts set up, and they like all withstood all that. And you're like, okay, I mean, we're doing a thing. And I actually went twice to my protest, so I got there early before it started to scope it out. I just wanted to see if there were any barriers, if there was any police blocking off the roads, right? If they were anticipating this at all. They weren't. Um, the place where we protest is off the sidewalk, even. Uh, and depending on how large that protest gets there in front of that state house, um, we could easily get to like 10,000 people and be not bothering anybody. You know what I mean? Really, if you want to really give it the kudos it deserves. It felt pretty full at 5,000, but I was in the back of that crowd and looking around and looking at space and saying, "Hey, you'd easily get 10K here. We be nut to butt, but you could get it done." So shout out to everybody protesting your ass off. Um, I don't know if you saw the impeach and remove that they made with people, and they had like a drone take a picture of that yesterday. That's fucking rad. I saw protests in small towns in Indiana, get over 100 people. And again, I'm keeping track. There's this guy, this single protester, right? He lives in a small town. He's just tired of shit, right? Don't want to lose his social security. He's protesting by himself. Okay, he goes from 1 to 35 to 100 to 500 people helped him protest, and I just think that's fucking awesome. And that's exactly what we've got to have. The reason we've got to have we have a massive country. So like she's a wide bitch, right? And like it's hard to get everybody in the United States all in one town, right? It costs fucking money to get there. Okay? In fact, I'd argue, and I'm just throwing this out there, if you really want to get rowdy, downtown Indianapolis. I'm just saying. But, but, because traffic is friendly and it's like a big city, and there's a bunch of hotels downtown Indy, so you could like take up all the hotels and then protest in the fucking street, and like you're really not disrupting that much. It's not that deep. It's not like all the call centers aren't downtown. You know what I mean? So everybody works from home in this city. So, and it is central and does have a nice airport. Does have a lot of. Good morning, Hugo. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. But it is real hard to get people to go all to one city and protest. Okay. And I also think that if you wanted to see what the police response would be uh, to a massive fucking protest, do it in a single city, and the police would shut that shit down because it's unsafe in a heartbeat. Okay? So I want to make sure you understand, like, I want you to protest where you're at. Okay? And I want you to take video and pictures of yourself and know, like, the world is watching. The people that support you in this are watching. The people that don't support you are watching, and they're having to look. They cannot turn away. They're talking about it. You know, I saw Rachel Maddow talking about protests. Did 13 minutes last night on this. And a lot of times we feel like we don't have anybody on our side, but ultimately, like, the mass majority of the planet is all on the same vibe, right? It's just there's a lot of uber rich people that want to stay uber rich and powerful. And I just wanted you to know, as someone who frequently feels far more powerful than I ever could have imagined. Uh they're not. They're not actually doing shit, actually. They're just twiddling their thumbs and fucking spinning the ball on their finger and losing hundreds of millions of dollars a week, and I'm here for this. I'm here to watch it. That is not power. That's just extreme exploitation, and it's time we call it what it the fuck is, Dougie. When you have entire communities of homeless people that cannot get on their feet, and you have people that I don't know own whole islands, can afford to spend like $5 million to spend 11 minutes in space. 300,000 starving people. You know what I'm saying? Like 700,000 homeless people just in the United States. I mean, you think about the sort of messaging you have by your actions, what you actually are doing. So, again, I want to take a good minute to say good on you if you went out and protest. If you're seeing what's going on and you're protesting it. You know, I got a phone call from some friends and said, "Hey, come see us before you go." So I ran downtown, you know, touch home plate time type ordeal. Ran downtown, checked it out, then went and saw some friends. And I wanted to talk with you about the kinds of conversations I'm having with. No, I just am a fan of Second Marine Division. It seemed like a cool, you know what I mean? Cool hat, huh? It's wild. It's a wild opener. I'm sure your follow-up's going to be even more impressive. Zavala. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Now, if you're not going to R50501, if you're not going to Protest Finder, I want to interest you in another subreddit that I think is particularly interesting. And for a lot of people, they're going to be like, "Oh man, we talked about this shit yesterday." Yeah, buddy. It's wild. Hey, this is suppressed news. So this is stuff they don't want you to see. Okay. Sorry, I don't know military hats. Okay. Anyway, so one of the things that I notice that's at the top of suppressed news, Gen X dude said, first Mardiv here, Semper Fi, brother. Semper Fi, do or die. Uh, ladies love Pedro Pascal, right? Ladies are absolutely Pedro Pascal. Um, man, he's wildly popular, right? Do you know he's also pro-Palestine? Did you know that? No, you probably didn't actually know that because that shit's getting suppressed the fuck out of. I didn't actually know that until I started kind of following what sort of information is being suppressed, right? One of the concerns, yeah, yeah. See, people in my YouTube chat are saying, "Wait a minute, I love Pedro Pascal. I didn't know that." Yeah, and one of the things I wanted to express is, do I follow Bulwark? No, I don't know who that is. A lot of people have come to me and expressed their concern over the U.S. declaring martial law today. And to quote the knitting cult lady, not on Zombie Jesus Day. So, for those of you that have been just waiting to call ICE on your neighbors, you're gonna have to wait. So, if that didn't feel like it was for you, then okay, that's it's not for you. Um, so yeah. Um, obviously, I think it's a very stressful time. We are painfully aware. I've said before and many times we have seen and heard far more than we were ever meant to see and hear. And that's part of the problem why many people feel over fucking whelmed. There's something new every day, so we come here. That's right, Cece. Try to. Okay. I've said before, as someone that was in the infantry during a time of war, if we were gonna do something stupid like fucking martial law, oh honey, we'd have practiced that shit. We'd have been talking about that shit. We would have been planning and preparing. We would have had a combined arms exercise over it. We would have been putting military units, would have been blended into communities. We would have been sending people to National Guard units en masse because it's far easier to mobilize from within than to. It takes a lot of fucking gas to get to places. Lots of military bases are not near massive cities. There, I told you. There's not a good way to do this that isn't painfully fucking obvious to everybody. Where everybody's like, oh yeah, it looks like the entire US military is mobilizing everywhere all over the US at all at the same time. No. None of that. None of that. None of that today. Many people that are high ranking in the military are doing Easter with their families today. And that shit's not fucking happening because there's no goddamn reason for this. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. I was at our fourth fucking protest. Is this my third or fourth? Somebody is counting. Um, how many protests I've fucking been to. I missed one. So however many is that? Um, and I know in Indy we didn't get quite the attendance we expected. It was fucking thunder and lightning and like 80-mile-an-hour winds yesterday morning. Probably not advisable to be standing outside. And it was pissing rain. Okay. And in the video I made yesterday, I look like a wet dog in that video from yesterday. I figured I'd post it after the show today. Again, they still have absolutely no person on active or part-time duty right now has riot control or martial law training. You would need to introduce that training to the military. The military would need to be preparing for to conduct martial law, and they're not. So if it happens, we are fucked because we don't train for that. You're not training to fire on your own people. You're not training for CPing your fucking hometown, right? This isn't fucking Red Dawn. You know what I mean? Like, or not even Red Dawn. They weren't necessarily like Americans killing Americans. But yeah. Yeah, and I just think like the thing about it is the hyper militarization of society. It's one of the things that I've tried to remove from my life. Like I'm a habitual gamer. One of the most popular video games of all time is Call of Duty. Okay? I have tons of fucking time playing that shit. But at some point you realize I'm not even going to stream myself doing this. This was my job, right? And how irresponsible it really is to fucking like perpetuate that when I have no business doing so, right? You're going to get yourself into a world that you don't want to be. I don't want to be in that shit anymore. I'm not that person. I actually I was an assaultman, which is like demolition and small rockets. So we're controlling a fight with a single button push, not like bat 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 bat, bat and it's like all of us. No, 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 no. Let me just run this wire out there. I'll be right back. That's what that was. So I don't even think of gun culture. This never did anything for me. There's no double deagles, you know what I mean? Like, not, I have absolutely no. And the fortunate thing about all the people that I went and saw yesterday is that they're also not into that shit either. And I could not be happier. But all of them have taken up arms and have decided I'm going out on my shield. I'm not old toll gunner. What's up? Semper Fi, baby. There's a 52. So there's a 0352. They might actually exist. I was a 0351, which doesn't exist anymore. Elise said, "Where are you located?" I'm in my office. And so yeah, the gun. I'm glad that the gun nuts aren't my generation. It is important to protect yourself are Indianapolis Colts, Purdue Boilermakers, Indiana Pacers. And then social media spreading rumors. Yeah. And everything's fucking AI generated CC. It's a fucking there's a reason that I'm here is to tell other people. I have family members on active duty in the Marine Corps infantry. The tip of the spear. The people that do the thing. And again, they would be fucking telling me, "Hey, cuz, guess what we're fucking doing? We're practicing with a riot shield and a baton." They would fucking tell me, "Hey man, they're mobilizing us. They're putting us in fucking Cincinnati. This sucks." Yeah. Ugh. People want to bitch about 29 Palms have not tried to drive on the roads in fucking Cincinnati in the rain. Okay? And there's many other places in the United States that we can make similar jokes, but I'm from the Midwest, so it's like, you know what I mean? Um, Same thing driving in Chicago when there's snow on the ground. The worst. But yeah, uh, I went and saw a bunch of my friends. They're all fucking scared. Uh, they have somehow missed this show, And so I'm guessing they all have a lot of catching up to do. And for a record, there's a reason. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. One of the things that I didn't do is I didn't ask my friends if it was okay before I started making this the content that I make and the show that I make, and I didn't want to endanger anyone by involving them, right? So when I go see all my friends yesterday, and we're good to see you, hope you're doing goods. They're all saying that they're now making time for the range, and again, I'm gonna tell everyone plowshare over slinging that iron, but the people that don't look like me are not at the same threat level I'm at, right? So they might be on the I need to practice and be able to protect myself. I'll grow a garden once I don't feel like my life is in danger, as opposed to me, big old white boy walking around Indianapolis, blending in, probably looking like a cop, right? Everyone's watched the movie documentary 2073 last night. A must watch. They are living in the clouds while the world is burnt down below. It's so unbelievable happened to us. Yeah. Lives in Chicago. Yeah. Super crazy weather. There's over 100 people watching me on a Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. Hey, good morning. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. If you're religious and today is a holiday that you celebrate, happy Easter. If you don't, that's cool. I don't either. It's for the kids. My wife and I are going to go hide Easter eggs later on today and enjoy the kids. Like, one of the things that I frequently do every fucking year is I place multiple Easter eggs where the fucking kids are not like smart enough or athletic enough, Jared, to like get that egg, and you just watch them. And you're just like, and sometimes they do stuff like start to pull a ladder towards something, and you're like, oh, no, 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 you can't be doing that, right? So it's also 420. My wife came home yesterday with a I don't know how to explain it to other people without showing paraphernalia, but it basically has two bowls on one piece of glass. Like see when you light it, you light two anyway. Nurse Ratchet. So yeah, hope you're all having a good weekend. Happy Easter. Trump and Elon are in it. I'm shook. It's wild. So I'm glad that we're sitting here, okay, saying this hey, just read the news, Jared. The Supreme Court's late night rebuke to Trump is extraordinary in more ways than one. Uh, Shortly before 1 a.m. on Saturday, the Supreme Court issued an emergency order halting Trump's administration's reported efforts to fly Venezuelan migrants to an El Salvador prison before they could challenge their deportation. I just want to make sure before you comment in my chat that you are pro Donald Trump. He's not even actually deporting people. See, deportation requires due process. You're not getting due process when they're nabbing you off the street and deporting you to else and sending you to because it's like gotta remove it from my lexicon. It's not fucking deportation, Jared. It's fucking rendition. They are rending people. They are kidnapping them and fucking trafficking them to someone they're paying. And I also want to make sure I already made this video, and by the way, it's going viral backwards. That's how you know you're making good content. When it did okay when it came out, you know what I mean? It got like 1,000 views in a day or whatever. But now I'm getting notifications like, this shit is hot, Jared. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, when I made the video saying stop calling it a fucking prison, it's not a fucking prison. It's a former prison. It's an ex-prison. It's not like it's staffed. Think about it like an abandoned Jurassic Park. That's what a CCOT is. And again, I don't even want you to think about pterodactyls and fucking, you know what I mean? Don't even think about dinosaurs, but like, it's not a prison. You get what I'm saying? There's lots of stuff missing here, like guards, like a fuck. You think Lambo asks, "Do you think John Roberts is finally wait?" Oh, yeah, because he did kind of hand the keys to democracy to him, didn't he? I think that ultimately, uh, Donald Trump has fucking dementia. And so there's a reason that he doesn't have to bear the weight of his decisions. It would kill any other man. I'm dead serious. Like, if you think about all the shit that this motherfucker's done in his life, dead. Dead. He has fucking dementia though, so every day he wakes up, clean slate. I didn't do shit. You know what I mean? I feel fine. What happened yesterday? Oh, how much? Oh, but yeah, Palantir is a company that needs to be divested from. Um, what do we say? Avilo Airlines is who's doing those overnight flights to El Salvador. And again, I want to point out the protest, the meeting between Kilmar Garcia and Van Halen from Maryland was set up. They like set the scene. You know what I mean? That wasn't like they walked up on their meeting and took some pictures. No, that was a setup. And all of this is it's a show. And there's a reason I've said there's a reason they let him be president, okay? Is because they know that there's no way you could sustain this. Right? Every couple weeks there's a protest. Every week is a Tesla takedown protest. There are whole ass companies that a bunch of people will never fucking shop at ever again. And I've said before, maybe you don't want to go leave your house and go to protest, but let me give you the fucking I wouldn't even call it the anarchist playbook. I would say let me give you the path to resistance. Get rid of Facebook. Get rid of Threads. Get rid of Instagram. Get Messenger off of your device. Get rid of WhatsApp. Get rid of Twitter. Stop shopping on Amazon. Focus on shopping local. Only buy from people you trust. Be very, very suspicious of who you do business with. Save your fucking money. We don't shop at fucking Target anymore. The walking back of your DEI policies is not, you're not recovering from this. Okay? Obviously, no Tesla, SpaceX, Starlink, right? XAI products. Try to keep them away from your fucking business. It's clear what they're fucking capable of, and that's fucking things up royally. If you really want to just call a spade, you gotta call it what it is. Walmart, fucking U-Haul, by the way. Uh, are you speaking for Elon Musk? What a That's just a wild question. Somebody said Palestine guy, ha ha ha. Are you aware that it's highly likely that Jesus shares DNA with Palestinians? You, I'm literally telling people not to use the products that the man sells. No, Elon Musk and I are diametrically opposed. I'm gonna keep saying it. What is happening that is that the rich people in the world have realized they created an unmanageable situation. So what they're doing is they're hitting the panic button. It's called accelerationism, okay? And what they're trying to do is build a bunch of private prisons all around the world to house their detractors and people that they don't like and force them into slave labor, because that is the only way that billionaires can stay wealthy. Once you discover how did you become a billionaire, and the answer is they fucking exploited everybody for their labor, which is just as bad as slavery. Slavery, they own you. You do whatever the fuck they tell you to do. Exploitation is they tell you they're going to pay you, you do the work, and then they say, whoops, whoops. Okay? Yeah, Tesla. Oh, man. Like I said, I'm not a capitalist, but one of my pieces on my TikTok, if you scroll, is a logo where you flip the Tesla logo upside down and it says Tesla. And I'm telling you, you could put that on a fucking t-shirt and sell it and make $1 billion. Easy money. Okay? So, one of the things that I love to, especially with a big audience, is make sure that you see a white cis male that was in the United States Marine Corps Infantry during a time of war that has a college degree say, Free Palestine, Slava fucking Ukraine. I know that it does not feel like the United States is anything but bought and sold by fucking Russia and Israel, and I would largely agree that there are like 500 or 600 people here in the United States, 500 or 600 people, and a bunch of people that work for them. But there are like 500 or 600 people in the United States that don't care about who gives them money. And to name them, it's the entire Republican Party, okay? Every single one of those elected officials took money from Russia. And also, 100 elected Democrats take money every year from AIPAC, which is basically Israel. And I also wanted to make sure that you see a white cis male that served in the Marine Corps Infantry during a time of war and also has a college degree say, oh shit, I forgot what I was going to say. I was just making sure to talk my shit. What was I going to talk about? Oh, Israel is a rogue nation state. And hey, money is money, right? Negative Ghost Rider, the pattern is full. Okay. Yeah, to slur. You don't actually a wealth transferal. You don't actually have to put the dots on it. Just turn it upside down. You never stop. One of the things that you got to know is there's no such thing as a former Marine. Blind. No such thing as a former Marine. I serve every fucking day. What are we talking about? The fuck are we talking about? That oath was forever. Long enough. Next. Because you got to understand there's when your start date is, then there's times of leave, then there's leave at the end, right? But let's say it like this: I got medically separated against my will, sent home with a bunch of money, with an honorable fucking discharge from the United States Marine Corps. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take my flowers. And August 28th, 2005, November 30th, 2007. That is like the least important thing about service. Few years. Like again, it's the same thing. It's like when people find out that you're a veteran. Yeah, my battle buddy got fucking murdered. Do you want to talk about it? I have absolutely no problem talking about it. There's a reason that I'm a disabled veteran. They gave me a bunch of money. They kicked me out against my will. Yeah, I'd love to. Yep. See, now they're gonna get into the part where they denigrate your service because you didn't even service a full contract, right? My battle buddy was murdered while we were on active duty. This isn't a dick measuring contest. Do you see how it turns into one? The good news is I don't feel like I have to dick measure with anyone. How am I gloating? What up, Jimmy? In the Army. Bro, tell me that was one of your favorite movies growing up, and if it's not, you're fucking crazy. Listen, Eddie, you're fucking up a conversation that was otherwise going pretty good. It's one of the best part about this format of the show is that it's like a conversation. Holy shit! Hold on just a second. I gotta look at fucking YouTube chat. Happy 420 and Easter. Good morning. S&M, their AI visions of sighting, but this video, sorry, I've seen this movie's insane. It's why you will not be in control of the terrorists who spoke yesterday. But it was yes, the movie showed out. It's the yes, these movies, a scary crap. It's GPS, but we complete features. It's a freak that made all the players to be Jesus. Ladies having a conversation. What's up? In the Army now. Yeah, fuck yeah. Oh my gosh. If you don't like Top Gun and In the Army Now, what was the one with the Wayans brothers that was actually pretty fucking funny? Major Payne? Did any of you guys see Major Payne? You know what I'm talking about? I think he had like a fake tooth, if I remember correctly. That might jog your memory. That's ROTC. Oh, that is an actual army. No. Lambo, no. Operation Razor is in effect. Ooh. What does that mean? Wait. Holy shit. Yo, you wanna hey, you wanna see some funny shit? You wanna see some funny shit? Operation Razor. Try to tell people to shave and shit. Yeah. Nah, hell nah. One of the things you won't do is you won't try to hold me to grooming standards I'm not contractually bound to anymore. Get the fuck off my nuts. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Far bigger fish to fry, gentlemen, ladies. I think it's hilarious. One of the best parts about being on active duty is you have to be clean shaven fucking constantly and have a fresh fade constantly. Um, but my skin cannot handle that. Yeah, because I'm not outside all the time anymore because it's terrible for you. Uh, right? I'm not gonna bathe in fucking sunscreen and work like a hard, physically difficult job. I'm fucking disabled. I can barely use my right arm. Okay, so DJ Al said Marshak. No, I was in 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines Weapons Company. It's terrible being outside. Oh, like sun damage? Bro, see, how long did that last, Cyclops? Did I say the denigrate my service based on time served? How long did it take? Less than 10 minutes. You couldn't even make it 10 minutes without denigrating my service based on time served. And I told you that my battle buddy got murdered and they medically separated me against my will and I would still be on active duty. Do you see this? For what? Your 5 buddies? Guess what you just did? You lost one friend. That's what you just did. You lost a friend. Oops. Oops. Wore fade for 10 years after I got out and lost my hair. That's one of the things that people got to do. Yeah, I was gonna say if I hold my arms down to my side, my right hand goes numb, and my fingers turn purple. And it's not like I'm like jerking my arm out of socket to make it happen. No, it's called it's something in my chest. It's because when I hurt my shoulder, it like pushed my arm into my clavicle and collarbone and like pushed it into my neck. Like when they first did the x-rays, they were like, hey, did you dislocate your first rib? And so like I said, like everybody wants to be disrespectful about other people's service. I'm never that. I don't care how long you served. If you were in the Marine Corps military for 5 minutes or fucking 50 years, I could give a fuck. Thank you for your service. If you want to be cool, that's cool. But the moment you care how long someone was in the military, you have a problem. It's not me that has a problem. You have a problem, and that's feeling inadequate. It's called feeling inadequate. I don't feel that way. I can say with my full chest, I don't feel inadequate. When I run into someone that's a veteran, I don't feel inadequate. But clearly, other people do. You can only lose me. You get it? I'm not gaining you. I'm not keeping you around. You're losing me. That's how that works. Again, that's how you address someone who is clearly having feelings of inadequacy. Over at Camp Geiger, yeah. That was probably one of the darker parts of my life, actually. It's because like you're at this like heightened sense of awareness all the time while you're on active duty. You're in the Marine Corps infantry, like shit's fucking. And you get to Camp Geiger, and there's still this like high level of seriousness, but there's nothing to fucking do until you get picked up into like a training company. And so there were lots of people that was like the darkest period in their lives. Mostly, I think it's because people were too poor to have hobbies, and so people didn't have hobbies. I spent a lot of time at Geiger teaching people how to play poker and teaching people how to play euchre, teaching people how to play spades, teaching people how to play dominoes and roll dice and fucking, you know what I mean? Like teaching people to have hobbies because didn't have hobbies and they also don't have a lot of money, right? Camp Geiger is the place where you go where guys start to splinter and they make some bad decisions, right? That's when they buy a car and get a stripper pregnant and all that shit. Okay. Somebody said Evergreen, I grew a beard and got locks, had to change everything, separate from the past. And they told us when we was on active duty, when I was in Steps and Taps, I mean I actually listened to that shit. They said to blend in. Having a fucking clean shaven face is not blending in. It's sticking out like a sore thumb. It's bad enough I'm wearing a hat that says 2nd Marine Division, right? No, it's not a rotator cuff, DJ. It's not on my elbow. So it's the head of my humerus pushed this way into my collarbone and clavicle into, and again, my neck, but again from a oh, did you just locate your first rib? That's the only thing that was ever said about that. Now keep in mind, 20 fucking years later, my hand is still numb, like just sitting here. My my right hand is numb. And when I say numb, it feels like I can only feel with the tips of my fingers, right? And that's just resting. Now, if I just stand up and put my arms down at my side, my right hand will turn purple and I'll hold up my hands. One of them's purple and the other one's the normal color. And that's a visible reminder. You can visually see his shit's fucked up in his right arm. I could see it. No, I can't remember what it's called, but they said it was the same. This is how you know shit's fucked. And that was when I was just like, "Oh, I'm done." So I went through the Wounded Warrior Project. I got asked to go through the Wounded Warrior Project because as I've said many times, my battle buddy was murdered while I was on active duty, and that's not how that was processed. So R.J. Rady, when he died, originally they said it was suicide. And so at his UCMJ trial, posthumously, they did an autopsy and they found drugs in his system, and they said that he did it himself. It was self-inflicted. Okay. Do you have any tears? No. No, they didn't. They didn't do anything with my first rib. But I'll never forget that. The first doctor to, and keep in mind, I got hurt August 26, 2006, the first time, and I didn't get surgery until the end of February 2007. So, like, a full 6 months after injury. Um, and the first doctor to look at a x-ray was like, "Did you dislocate your first rib?" Like, you can't. What the fuck are you gonna do, right? I mean, apparently, because like it's not like there was like treatment for that. They went in and knocked that rib back into spot, you know. So the thing about it was is that I kept hurting my right arm. I think I hurt myself one, two, three, at least 3 times, all my right arm. hmm Fortunately, I'm a lefty. I'm a lefty. I write with my left hand. I throw a ball with my left hand. I shoot a gun with my right hand. hmm What the fuck is wrong with people? Cece, as I adequately assessed, someone was feeling inadequate, which is common. If you think Cece, if you think about why you would not like me if you're a veteran, it's because I have a massive fucking platform, right? I have like 16,000 followers and I haven't even been here 6 months. Okay? So I get it. I have something you don't: charisma and fucking charm. Okay? And so you will come into my life and you'll go, "Man, he's a hard charger. He must have been in for a while. Hey man, how long were you in the Marine Corps?" And then I tell you 27 months. And immediately you've now devalued my service down to less than 3 years of my life. And you've made that in your little rat brain, you've now made that the path to delegitimizing my service. You are on the path because you're saying it was only like 5% of your life. Not because you're curious. And then what happened? I said, it will take him less than 10 minutes to denigrate my service and delegitimize my injury. Probably say something negative about me having PTSD, right? And that's because my battle buddy died while I was on active duty, and they told me that he did it to himself. And so for over a decade, I had like survivor's guilt. I mean, think about it. Like, the person that I lived with while I was on active duty, he died. And I blamed myself. Like, it's my fault. He was my fucking roommate. If he was on base, I should have fucking been there. But I wasn't there, for the record. I was in another state. I was on convalescent leave post surgery. We both had gotten surgery. Okay. And so for like over a decade, I like had pretty bad survivor's guilt. I was pretty mostly confused, right? Like, it's definitely not my fault, but I still feel responsible. And like, your brain, I'm a smart cat. Like, I can rationalize that, like, it's not my fault that RJ Rady is dead. I still feel fucking responsible, and I feel like they pushed me out of the military because they didn't want to deal with that. And in fact, like 6 months after his death, I was medically separated against my will, and I seem to have all 10 fingers and all 10 toes. So I can't imagine why you would medically separate me and give me a bunch of money and send me home if you weren't trying to cover some shit up, right? Because after I mourned RJ for more than a decade, his wife called me and said, "Hey, we need you to go to Wounded Warrior Project and try to get help." And I was like, "What?" Because I'd already filed for my benefits. And they were like, "You have to refile for your benefits. You need to get the word out that RJ Rady was murdered." what? And so I talked to his wife and I was like, what's going on? And she sent me pictures and names and dates and conversations that she had with the person that did it. And it turns out that there was no story other than RJ Rady's body was recovered at a bridge near the entrance to Camp Lejeune, the main entrance to Camp Lejeune. I didn't know anything prior to that. All I knew is that his body was recovered near the entrance to Camp Lejeune. Like he died like a druggie, right? Like drugged out in full camis at the bridge. What is that? I can never remember directions. What direction are you going if you're turning right into the main gate at Camp Lejeune? Are you traveling southbound? But so anyway, if you keep going southbound past main gate Camp Lejeune, on your right is a bridge right after the entrance to Camp Lejeune. I'm just directionally fucked up. I'm also like obviously emotional about a story I'm telling. But anyway, his body was left at that bridge. And that was all that I knew. Until about 10 years later, when his wife told me that the night that he died, he went to a party, and I knew that because I have the text messages. So he and I were best friends, talked all the time. He texted me at 9:45 the night before he died and said he felt like shit, like super sluggish. And I had said, I told you you can't drink like we drink and take your meds. You can't do both. You've got to do one or the other. And we talked about how he had blown out his knee and he walked around with a cane and he fucking hated it. And his right knee was bone on bone. That shit fucking hurts, right? Anybody that's got a bad knee will tell you that shit sucks. And so he didn't want to go without his pain pills. And he'd gone to a party and he'd drunk. And he said he didn't feel good. He felt really lethargic. And that he needed to pass out and go to sleep. And I said, good, stop drinking, start pumping fucking water and hit the rack. Like, don't stay up all night and party. Now, fast forward a decade, right, where I have no idea what happened. And a decade later, I found out that he did pass out at that party. He went to sleep at like 11 o'clock. And the next morning, he passed out on a pile of coats. So all night long, people were going in and getting their coats and shit. All night long, he's laying on their coats and purses and shit in the floor, sleep in this girl's room. Okay, because he's married. He's got a wife. He wasn't being dishonest, right? He sleeps overnight. They go to wake up the next day. They got to go to work, and they are not Marines on active duty. They work on base, so probably food service because there's a lot of places to eat on base, right? So, as they're getting ready for work the next morning, they like kick him around, try to wake his ass up, and he won't wake up. He's super lethargic. So the girl rubbed cocaine on his gums, and fucking they two-man carried his ass to their work vehicle, put him in their work vehicle in his full camis and shit, and drove him on base, deader than a motherfucker. Drove him on base and got turned around at the gate because they didn't have his ID. It was on the floor at their house. So they went back and got his ID, stuffed it in his pocket. They knew they were going to get turned away at the gate because the Marine's not conscious, right? So they just dropped his body off at the gate and then went to the gate to check in and said, hey, there's somebody down there at that bridge over there. Okay? And the worst part about that story is the person that did it, RJ Rady is not even the only person that she did that to. And I would call that murder. Just throwing that out there. Just, I think if you give someone drugs and they die and you do it more than once, it's on purpose. It's premeditated, for sure. If you'd already done that and got that outcome, would you ever do that again to somebody? I'm guessing only if you thought you was going to get away with it, right? Because if you're in the Marine Corps, for some reason you're this expendable, right? So like I said, I didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't like I'm a bad guy, or I have a other than honorable. I have an honorable discharge. Hmm. Yep. So I don't know why, if you knew that about me, why would you be disrespectful towards me about my service at all? Do you think that's the outcome that I wanted? Hmm. It's pretty quiet. It's interesting. It's very interesting. So people got a lot to say when they feel inadequate, right? And they want to know, how long did you serve? I was surprised they didn't go straight to the how many bodies did you stack, right? Okay. And for the record, it's a badass part of my story that I get to tell forever. My best friend is a black man from Brooklyn, New York. He's a former MC. Okay, he's a Indiana University grad. He's a homeowner. We're coworkers. We work at the same place. We've worked at 4 businesses together. When I met him, he was a partier. He was a fucking MC. He's great. He was doing blow. And I told him about what happened to me while I was on active duty and how I didn't want to be friends with him if that's how he's going to get down. And you know what he did? He went home and told his wife, "Yo, I met this dude at work that I want to be friends with." And he straight up told me once he found out that I do blow that I don't want to be fucking friends with you if that's what you're going to do. Because I already lost somebody to that. And I ain't trying to do that shit again. And he quit doing blow cold turkey, and we've been friends for more than a decade. Mhm. His name is AJ. RJ to AJ, right? Cocaine is the tie that binds. That's a bad joke. Don't. That's called gallows humor. Y'all are just gonna have to get used to shit like that. Extremely dark. Extremely dark. Mm-hmm. Hey, you too, Smith Owens. Happy Easter. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I can only imagine what kind of unhinged shit Donald Trump posted on social media this morning. Good lord. Oh wait, what's going on? Casey Drumhiller. Thank you for service, dude. Happy Easter. Hey, too. It won't let me post comments. Okay. Donald Trump having a motherfucking meltdown over the SCOTUS ruling on deportations. So you know what that means. The deportations will continue until morale improves. Also, want to keep pounding that was these are not even deportation. It's far worse. Oh, and I use video gaming, as a coping mechanism. And one of the great quotes um, came from an NBA 2K game. I can't remember if it was 21 or 22. But anyway, you're asked in the my player career. I think it's your final high school game. You get asked about another player. Like they say that you're the next MJ, but you got this guy, compare yourself. And his answer, when asked to compare himself, is that comparison is the thief of joy. And I just want you to know that when I meet someone that was in the military, I'm never asking you how long were you in the military. That's not even in my headspace. How many people have you lost? Not even in my headspace. I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here, right? It's my day yesterday. I was out of the house for a long time. I thought I was gonna wake up sick today. I left just after 11 a.m. yesterday. Got home just after 4. So I was gone for about 5 hours. I went to see some friends, shake some babies, kiss some hands, uh, and then I had stopped by the protest before it went off, and then I stopped by on my way back. Hey, good morning, Corey. So I was down there early, just seeing if there was any, like, if the police were blocking off the roads at all, or if there was any blockades set up, or if there was any noticeable counter protests set up. And there weren't. There were no blockades. There were no um, attempts by law enforcement to derail a protest. And for me to be able to say that in Indianapolis, Indiana, during this administration, it's important. It's important to be able to say, like, I scoped it early, there was nothing. I came back later on to see if maybe there was some residual, maybe there was some eventual counter protest, some eventual attempted police control of a locale, and there wasn't. There fucking wasn't. There wasn't. Um, Comparison is a thief of joy. Yeah, yeah. Comparison is a thief of joy. And I know that there will be even veterans that are like, hell no, I want to compare, and it's because you feel inadequate in this moment. And the one thing is, I've talked to my therapist for a long fucking time, for years, about shit like this. And one of the last conversations we had, my therapist told me being a Marine did not define who you are. It's part of who you are now. But you were mostly this before you were on active duty. You were mostly this. If anything, it gave me like one brand that I like can consistently wear with pride. United States Marine Corps. That's about it. Like, especially like the older I get, as these companies fucking basically put me in a position to, like, well, I guess I'm never shopping there again, right? And then if I own products from you and I'm never fucking doing business with you again, it's limiting my clothing options, actually. Like, I looked yesterday for the first time in a long time for new clothes for myself. And you know what I looked at? Marine Corps shit. The fuck I need something else for? So I'm immensely proud, right? Like I said, I even have cousins that are on active duty in the infantry. Ramel. So I don't know about coming along and running into me. I just don't know about feeling like comparing our service. I just don't know if that's going to work out for you. You're going to leave feeling very empty. Very empty. Because you're going to realize how shallow most of those accomplishments are. They mean a whole fucking lot to you, but they don't move Earth. And that just happens to be one of the harsh realizations that many veterans have to come to conclusion. What we do in this life echoes an eternity. However, when it's in service to your country, it's often quiet and fucking thankless, as it should be. You swore an oath, after all. Didn't it? Isn't the aren't the Navy SEALs told to be quiet operators? Isn't that like their whole modus operandi? Maybe everybody should just take that up. You know, there's entire generations of people that serve that don't talk about their time in service at all. Maybe more people should be doing that. Because I don't think dick measuring with the number of your fellow brothers that you've lost is healthy for you mentally. If looking at what someone else has done for their country and comparing and trying to denigrate someone else's service is in your lexicon, perhaps it needs removed because you've done fucked up. That ain't how any of this shit works in real life. I just want to go back to that for a moment. That no one cares. No one cares. In fact, my own family members have said similar things to me. So that's another thing that people don't like about me is that I don't believe that blood is thicker than water. I think you define your family. Because as I've said, people that have been just as disrespectful to me about my service call themselves my family. I said that the way I said it for a reason. So I know that every person that meets me feels like they have to compare themselves to me, but I just know that that's not going to work out well for you. It's not going to work out well. You're going to feel very empty and unfulfilled. Hmm. Because I'll talk about my time in service. I didn't do anything wrong. In fact, I did everything right and was beloved by my unit and the people that I served with. And so my absence was a loss for the people that I worked with and for in the units that I was in. I was seen as an asset, and my exit was seen as a loss. And I still talk to guys I served with and have a relationship with guys that I served with. And I meet people all the time that served in the same fucking unit. So know that the people that I worked with, the people that I served in the same branch as, served in the same unit as, I get along with them just fine. What's the fucking problem? Right? What problems do you? I've never oversold my service. I always say I'm not a war hero, but I know some. Remember that I told you when I got to Tutu, they were on the tail end of their fifth straight deployment to Iraq. And I also can say with my chest, a lot of people say that they're about that life. And having watched people have to wear it, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And it takes many people down after the fact. Combat, that is. I know a lot of Marines with multiple combat deployments. It it takes just as much as it gives, and often after the fact. It's where you talk about like 22 a day and shit. Just remember, I said heavy is the head that wears a crown. Hey, Empress. So, like when J.D. Vance disrespected Tim Waltz, right? Unacceptable. So proud of the U.S. It was lit everywhere. Yeah, yeah. I even thought, like I said, I even thought downtown Indianapolis was doing great, especially given we had bad weather the morning of. We had 80-mile-an-hour tornadic winds, and it was thundering and lightning and raining. And when I rolled up there before it started, there were hundreds of people there. And I actually had to leave. I got called to go see some friends, so I went and saw some friends, and I swung back by, uh, and caught the tail end of the actual march itself. Like parked, got out, walked over there, walked in the last quarter of their little march, and then ran back to my car and went home. It was fucking raining, and I'd already been there earlier in the day, right? So no, I didn't spend all 4 hours there. That's fucking crazy. I saw a TikTok from there. It was packed. Yeah, when I got there, there were hundreds of people just kind of standing around. And then, like I said, I actually left downtown Indianapolis about 11:50, so about 10 minutes before the actual kickoff of the protest. And then I went to the south side about 20 minutes away, stayed for a while, made a couple stops, and then went back by there about 3:30, 3:15, 3:30. But I think 3:23 when I actually hit pavement, and they were rounding the corner, making a right, going back to home base. So, never that late to a fucking formation in my life. But also, I got kind of called. Like somebody called me and was like, "You're in danger. You need to come and see me." I was like, "Okay." So apparently, people had seen somebody post something about me on Facebook or something. Which I want to say thank you for spreading the word about my daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. Thank you for pointing people my way who shall uh, come see me say Slava Ukraine and Free Palestine and also advocate for a healthy lifestyle. Get 8 hours of sleep a night. You probably need to take a nap. Okay. You you need to drink water and hide and eat right and exercise. hmm those are the most important things for you to do. We need to start protesting Mar-a-Lago. That would be great. I saw a image. I was like hesitant to be happy about seeing, but I saw an image where it was like protesters descend upon the White House, and I was like, no. Talked about the food before. Food. Lee, tell me more. Talked about the food before. Question about that. Food before. Talked about the food before. Keep going, Lee. Eating better. Oh. So, when I was like 38 years old, I was still playing football, like fully padded football. Played semi-pro late into my 30s, and actually hung them up and came back to coach. Uh, was an offensive coordinator And then after that first season as OC, by the way, we went undefeated. So when I coach adults, we can win. That's for sure. After the first year, I realized our problem was going to be is if our quarterback ever got hurt. I'm about to get into it. Our biggest fear was if our quarterback went down, and I'm a quarterback. So I lost about 75 pounds in about 6 months at 38 years old using only best practices. Like, I literally was like, and I'm pretending to fucking. What are the absolute best things to do if I'm fucking 38 and I want to become the best athlete I can become in like 6 fucking months, and I also need to lose like 75 fucking pounds because I'm fat and worthless? Okay. First things first, after you wake up from 8 hours of sleep, 2 REM cycles. Okay. Okay. You need to get out of bed. You probably need to take your daily vitamin at this point. I would recommend your creatine and your protein and one of your very few servings of fruit every day. So one of the things that you have to realize is that if you want to eat right and you're exercising and shit, you got to think like more protein, which automatically means more salt. So once you realize, like, I'm going to be eating more protein, which means more salt, salt your food less. Just throwing that out there. Okay. So when you wake up, you take your multivitamin. I would take a cup of ice, handful of blueberries, honey, protein, creatine, milk, water, oat milk, whatever, blend, and then have that as my kind of morning shake before I go to the gym and work out. And so I'd go to the gym. I was doing 5x5x10 or 5x6x10, uh, push pull legs 6 days a week. But I'm only working out maybe like 45 minutes to an hour at a time because I gotta pay attention to my kids that are lifting, right? And then I also got to get back home. I got to work, right? So when I get home from lifting after a protein shake on the way to it, I'm eating breakfast. Breakfast is scrambled eggs. Remember what I said: low salt, uh, maybe salt and pepper, but again less salt. And then if you're cutting weight, turkey bacon. If you're not cutting weight, bacon is fine. Your sausage, it's fine. It has protein, it's fine. Trust. You need protein. I like breakfast food better because things make more sense here. For example, one egg is like 6 grams of protein. One piece of bacon is like 3. One link of sausage is like 4. So you need around 70% of your body weight in grams per protein per day. Understand that without protein shakes, you're probably going to have a hard time eating that much. And this comes from a big man that's been a high level athlete at multiple stages in my life. I'm just throwing that out there. It's actually fucking hard to eat your body weight in protein a day. It's fucking hard. It's not like the easiest thing to do. After a while, you just get tired of eating. Okay. Rice is your fucking friend. Okay. But that rice was great as a big old 500 grain rice, like, or 500 grams of rice. Like, have some fucking rice for breakfast. It's great with eggs. It's great with fried chicken. Seasonings are your friends. Dressings and shit like that are not. You can make low calorie dressings and stuff like that. But ultimately, it's protein shake, workout, eat breakfast, healthy. And then what I try to stay away from is because I'm already a sugar addict. is I'm not eating Cliff Bars. I'm not drinking fucking Gatorade. We're not doing that shit. Okay? Drink water. Get away from plastic containers. Okay? I drink out of them. I only drink out of a metal container, like a actual cup or glass. Stop drinking out of plastic. In case you haven't seen that, recently they came out and said they're finding like teaspoons of fucking plastic in people's frontal lobes and shit. Um, but anyway, so you protein shake before you work out. Nice full meal within a half hour after a lift. Avoid the bullshit snacky type shit, the Gatorade, the fucking da da da. And then lunch, you need greens. So there's lots of greens that people don't like. Um, however, you can take them in. I happen to actually like greens. That's fucking insane, K-Pro. Cece said, I love rice with milk and cinnamon and a little sugar. That's fun. Um, but yeah, you need greens. You still need protein. A lot of people that swear by it are on 2 chicken breasts. 2 grilled chicken breasts at lunch is correct. And that shit has stood the test of time. So fucking there you go. And then what I always try to tell people, it depends on if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight. But I personally cut potatoes if I'm cutting weight. And I eat potatoes because they're a great side for any meal. And potatoes are healthy for you, okay? Especially sweet potatoes, okay? The only reason I'm not like a sweet potato guy is because my wife doesn't really like them, okay? So if you're trying to like maintain or gain weight, taters are fine, okay? Steak is fine, right? But greens 2+ times a day for every 1 serving of fruit. And the thing about it is free. Yeah, I know it sucks. I love potatoes. I can prepare them all kinds of fucking ways. Oh, it's the worst. But it's just fucking. They're not. You don't need it if you're trying to lose weight. You don't need that shit trying to lose weight. Um. So yeah, two two servings of greens per 1 serving of fruit. It will help you because the fruit just has not necessarily bad sugar. It has good sugar in it, but you just don't need it. That's the thing about it. It's fucking wild. We have all these great tasting fruits that you just don't need. It sucks. Yeah, cauliflower is awesome. Avoid deep frying shit. You don't need to do that. Grilled and baked tastes good too, dude. Just eliminate fucking fried food and you'll be good. But yeah, that's again, and it's strict. I got my 2 kids in college are trying to be athletes in college, and they're at small enough schools and they have enough athletic ability that if they can hone that, they could actually contribute. And I've got them both on the plan, right? So they're going to bulksupplements.com to get their creatine and their protein. They're taking that shit when they wake up. You get hungry, you got a meal planned. Drink another fucking protein shake. It's called meal replacement for a reason. Okay. But the people that are most successful are the most consistent. So understand it's about what you can repeatedly do. And that having winning habits doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. You got to get everybody on the team on the same page. So everybody's got to be about it. Oh, and by the way, you want to walk before you go to bed. You want to do your cardio an hour before you go to sleep. Mm-hmm. It'll speed up your metabolism. It'll help your muscles develop. Also helps them get into a resting phase faster, which you ultimately want your body to be able to do. Because you're going to stress your shit out, and then you're going to stop activity. Mm-hmm. When I was on active duty, guys struggled to eat enough protein in a day. We were literally eating literally eating tuna out of the can. Like no salt, no pepper, no mayo, no crackers and cheese, none of that shit. Just spooning fucking straight tuna. And so, like I said, if you really wanted to be in the best shape, it's great when you're trying to like save your money and be budget conscious and shit. It's good. It's actually really good. To when I say things like the prices of goods are skyrocketing, in your mind you're like, but that kind of feeds our MO, right? Because it's like sleep 8 hours a day. Yeah, tuna has super high protein content. That little fucking two and a what is it? Is it 2.5 ounces? Is that what comes in a can of protein? 2.5 ounces, like 30 grams of protein. Yeah. hmm yeah, tuna has dumbass high protein. You know what else has crazy high protein content? I'm wrong. I'm wrong, but I can't remember what it is, but it blows my fucking mind. I think it's chickpeas. Am I fucking wrong? I want to say it's chickpeas have dumbass high protein. Like like I swear to God, like a big handful of it has like 10 grams of protein. Like what the fuck? You can put it in your food. You can put it in your shake. I could be wrong. It might not be chickpeas, but I want to say it's chickpeas. Aren't they the big ones? The big tan. Yeah, I think it's chickpeas. Yeah, they're stupid high protein, and they're good too. You make them all kinds of ways. hmm Add them to your salad at lunch. You can put that. You can grind it up into dust. Put it in your put it in your fucking shakes. Yeah. Oh! The most important thing. Yeah, garbanzo beans. That's why my brain was all fucked up. S&M because I was like, they're called something else. They're not called chickpeas. Garbanzo beans. Um, what's the other thing? Oh, you've got to put it in your shake. Um, Flaxseed. You have to put flaxseed in your protein shakes. There's a reason that people don't stick with their routines, and it's because, like you want to get healthy, so you start eating protein shakes. And this guy told me to put blueberries in my protein shake, right? But then you get a stomach ache because you're putting a bunch of fucking sugar on your belly when you got an empty stomach, right? And then you want to come back to me and you're like, oh, this sucked. I didn't want to do, I forgot to tell you, put flaxseed in your shit. Put flaxseed in your protein shake. Put it in your salads too. It helps calm your stomach and helps you eat good, and not suffer the blowback. Because your body is gonna go through some fucking changes when you stop sticking fucking nachos and shit in your gullet, right? And I think about it, I'm like 40 and I have actual no reason to eat healthy right now at all, and I do it anyway because it's like a habit. I just cut back on my protein shakes. Cece said, I love tuna with lemon olive oil. You mean like lemon, comma, olive oil? I just wanted to clarify. And then onion, green onion, black olives. Right, your body goes in shock. Yeah, for sure. But no, that you can have a little cheese, you can have a little sauce. You know what I mean? Most people should be more concerned with a consistent diet than weight loss or gain. You got to get that right first, right? It almost goes in order, really, if you really think about it. You got to get the sleeping shit right first. And let me qualify that. And I know I'll leave. I've took too much of your Sunday morning. Okay? But one of the things that people don't get right is that if you aren't sleeping enough, none of it matters. Why? Because a lack of sleep has the highest impact on your performance. So if we're not getting that right, it's almost like, what does it even matter? We're not at 100%, right? So, like I said, you need 2 REM cycles a night. Generally, those are 3 hours. You need two. That's men's sleep. I have PTSD as well. Fortunately, self care is kind of something I've been doing for like 20 fucking years. And when you do it long enough, it works. So, I understand you need two full REM cycles to be completely rested. That takes anywhere from like 6 to 10 hours for most people. Every 2 hours less than eight of sleep that you're getting every day is 25% off of your potential performance for that full next day, and there's no such thing as catching up on sleep. Now, you could take a nap, and I'd argue. most of the time, people just need sleep. Okay? You also need uh, to hydrate. Most people are waking up pounding coffee until they run into an energy drink, right? And then they're pounding an energy drink till they get to the bar, right? I live that life, right? One of the things that I'd tell you is I drink coffee in the morning, and the older I get, the quicker I'm on water. Just so you know, and that's just like as a normal part of life. Mostly because like the temperature's going up and we're all gonna burn to death, but you know. Tuda Ludi said tuna fish, dried cranberry, pecan pieces, lemon juice, grapeseed oil, S&P, salt and pepper. Okay, that sounds awesome. The chi chi beans. That's funny. So anyway, somebody asked about diet, and then of course you can fuck that all up like my wife and I do by habitually ordering ice cream and pizza for delivery, and eating at like Culver's all the time, which is what I listen. I could eat at Culver's all the time. Double cheeseburger with bacon, put all the shit on it, French fries, big ass milkshake. I could fucking do that with a cheese cup on the side. Like trust, I I am a fat kid, right? But I also know that you can't like do that all the time, man. That shit's not good for you, dog. Um, and that's just being fucking real. Like it's just not good for you. It's not gonna help you. Um, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. Have you ever bit into a sandwich? Tell me, you ever bit into a sandwich and pulled that shit away from your face and you went, "Oh, this is how we die." Oh, guess we're just gonna have to keep eating. You never ever done that where like the sandwich is so fucking good that you're just like, "Oh yeah, this is it, huh?" Fuck. Like I did everything right, right? I did it all. Like, have you, for the record, have you ever had a triple cheeseburger with 4 pieces of cheese and all the fixings, and you take a bite and you immediately know we fucked up. That is too much shit. There's too many pieces of cheese, and there's one too many fucking. I'm dead ass serious. I could go on forever about sandwiches. When it comes to 2 or 3 patties, I'm never three and never more than 2 pieces of cheese. And I'm telling you, because there's so many other things that you are gonna like want to put in that fucking sandwich, and two patties, 2 pieces of cheese is maximum. Like my wife has gone the other way, where she's like, it's max single patty, single piece of cheese. For her, put all the stuff on it, right? Tasting Indian food for the first time. Oh my god, if you've never had butter chicken and naan, like well, actually brushed garlic butter naan, where it's still gleaming and like hot and shit, and then the naan has to be piping hot too. But yeah, Indian food's the motherfucking shit. You can only handle a single. Yes, my wife, my little bitty ass wife. Give me a little single and a little small milkshake. You're just like, oh my god, like that's like 200 calories, Taylor. That's a fucking snack. I'll like fold that little single burger into 4 pieces, one bite that shit, and then just chug your fucking milkshake. Trash can. That was a waste of fucking $17. Like we are all out of our minds. I am a large person. Like I have to be careful not to eat too fast because I'm dead ass. The Marine Corps will fuck you up forever on French fries and a burger. Oh, that's 4 bites. That's less than 2 minutes and 45 seconds of total chewing. This shit is over, and I have to like unfuck my brain where I'm like, you can chill on that milkshake, bro. Like just put it in the freezer. Like and you know what? As I get older, I find myself like not hoovering shit, right? Like We found this local like ice cream shop. It sounds so fucking lame. We we found this local ice cream shop that will deliver. Um, and I got an M&M cookie, chocolate ice cream sandwich, and it was, hand spun chocolate, like actual chocolate fucking ice cream between them shits, and I could only get down half. And like I said, I'm the kind of guy I could fucking. You want to talk about somebody that like competitive eating missed me? However, I will fuck. Oh my god, you plate of nachos, it annihilated. What are we? What the fuck are we talking about? Like that little flimsy ass boat they try to put a nachos bel grande in. I could just fold that shit in half, crunch all that shit up, and you could just over with. What are we talking? Hot dogs? Fuck out of here. 2 bites. It's over. And you could put enough on it that you can't do that. Somebody said I love McCormick's curry powder. Oh, this is back to the Indian food. I need to learn how to make it at home. Anyway, listen. It's Sunday. It's Easter. There's not a lot, really not a lot going on. Okay. As we said before, a lot of people that I've talked to lately have been very concerned about this administration declaring martial law, and I have spent a good portion of time telling you they don't train you for that shit, and we're not ready for that shit, and it would be like nearly goddamn impossible for martial law to work in the United States. And also, it would require a great deal of preparation and troop movement, and there's been literal none of that. There's been none of that. And above all things, not on Zombie Jesus Day. Okay? A million thanks, inspiring, right? So have a good day. Know that the revolution is alive and well. Okay? Viva